In the spotlight tonight, America's gun culture. Florida's Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services made an announcement yesterday that he is very excited about. Here's the press release that he issued yesterday in which he proudly told the world that Florida's concealed weapon and firearm license program is 1 million strong. 1 million people in Florida now have successfully applied for and obtained the right to conceal and carry a loaded gun. 45-year-old Michael Dunn is one of those concealed weapon license holders in Florida, a license he apparently believed included the right to shoot and kill 17-year-old Jordan Davis, which he did 3 weeks ago in Jacksonville, Florida. Jordan Davis was sitting in the back seat of a car parked at a gas station convenience store while another friend was in the store buying snacks. Jordan and the kids in the car had the music jacked up pretty loud. Michael Dunn didn't like that. He was in the parked car next to them. He told them to turn down the music. The kids didn't turn down the music, and so Michael Dunn started shooting. He fired 8 bullets, 6 of which hit no one. The other 2 hit Jordan Davis and killed him. Michael Dunn then fled the scene, did not report the incident to police, and thanks to an eyewitness who caught Dunn's license plate number before he fled, police arrested him the next day, 173 miles from the scene of the shooting. Today, Michael Dunn was indicted for the capital murder of Jordan Davis and 3 counts of attempted murder in the first degree of the other kids in the car. Joining me now for their first national television interview, the parents of Jordan Davis, Lucia McBath and Ronald Davis, along with their attorney, John Phillips. Lucia, you got that phone call that parents can't imagine getting. Ron found out first. He called you. What was your feeling? What happened to you when you got that phone call?
It just, when I just happened to come up in the bedroom and I saw my phone light up and I saw that it was Ron, I knew it had to do with Jordan. Mm-hmm. I knew it, 11 o'clock at night, there would be no other reason why he would be calling. And when I picked up the phone and he just kept saying, where's Earl? Get Earl. And I knew when he was telling me to get Earl, my cousin, that it had to do with Jordan. And I knew something was terribly, terribly wrong. And I think I knew in my spirit, I knew that he was gone. I felt that.
Ron, do you think it was in your voice when you made that call? I can't imagine what it's like to be in a father's position, having to make that call to the mother of this child that you've both just lost.
When I first came back from the hospital, from seeing him, that it was my child in the hospital that had passed, walking up to my front door, just thinking how I can tell my wife, Jordan's stepmother, first of all, and going through the reaction of her, and then the realization of both of us that we have to immediately make that call to Jordan's mother. And the first thing I thought about was, as she said, is to get her cousin, who's like a brother to her, Earl, to stand with her and make sure she's sitting down. And that's what I tried to do, so that's why she kept saying, why do you want Earl? I said, just let me speak to Earl. Why do you need to speak to Earl? And I said, and she finally just made me say it. She said, there's something wrong with Jordan. And at that time, I did tell her that Jordan had been shot and he didn't survive.
Lucia and Ron, when the nation was watching the Trayvon Martin story develop, I think we all felt, all of us parents of teenagers in America thought, wow, that could have been anyone's child.
Exactly.
I'm sure you must have identified with that story that way. Did it create, in following that story to whatever extent you did, an extra sensation of worry about Jordan?
Absolutely. I mean, without a doubt, because underneath I kept saying, oh, that could have been Jordan. I mean, that could have been Jordan. So, and when you hear a story so tragically like Trayvon Martin's, you know, it does put a sense of fear in you, because you know that you can't watch your child every moment of the day as they get older and they start living their lives, and you want to protect them and you want to watch over them, but you know that it's not always possible, and that, you know, there are dangers and people out there that sometimes you just can't protect them from, and it makes you kind of feel helpless.
Ron, African American parents in this country throughout its history have always had to have the conversation, especially with teenage boys, that it's different for them out there.
Right. Jordan never believed it's different for them out there because as I was raised as a child in New York City, from Queens, New York, right here, and I never had that problem. You know, I'm a child of the 60s and the 70s. And there was a lot of love going around, a lot of neighbors. When you did something bad in your neighborhood, your mother and father knew about it before you got home, because the neighbors, they told on you, and they helped protect you. And so I used to tell Jordan that, and he said, well, Dad, you know, I have a lot of friends, and all of my friends, you know, they're of all colors, you know, Bosnian, Irish, you name it, and we all play together, we all have fun together, so I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to let things that happen in America guide me and make me be something that I'm not. So he was the type of child that was raised to be with everybody, so we never really raised him to have that great fear of that. We never did.
Lucia, in Florida, there seem to be two things that come together here. This determination to have concealed weapons, and the state government wanting people to have concealed weapons, carry these loaded weapons, and this stand your ground law, this notion in Florida that there comes a moment in a confrontation where you have a right to pull a trigger, and it is up to citizens to make that judgment. This is that moment where I get to shoot and kill someone. It seems that as much as anything else, that's where this problem arises. And in this case, sadly, also has a racial component. This is a white shooter of a black teenager.
Most certainly that is the case, you know. Mr. Dunn is white, and, you know, my son is black. But we're not going to concentrate on that. There needs to be an amendment to the Stand Your Ground laws. We're not saying that you don't have a right to bear arms, because we can't choose for you what you choose to do. But there needs to be accountability. There needs to be responsibility. You need to understand the means by which you can bear arms and protect yourself. And that is something that really has to be addressed. So it's not a black-white issue. It's a nation issue. And people are operating in fear. People are afraid to walk out of their homes. And I know that's not what God intended for our country. I know that. We know that.
Ron, it is an American problem that we're talking about here, but here are these two now sadly well-known cases in Florida, Trayvon Martin and now your son. Florida seems to have a special problem here.
Well, we have a big following in Florida with the NRA. I can see that looking at their website, you know, and everyone looks at Florida as far as concealed weapon permits. I think it has tripled over the last few years, I believe I've read. I know the NRA has over 4 million members, you know. People want to bear arms. I understand that. People want to have concealed weapons now. And when I say it's an overall problem, not just the state of Florida, in America, I see that as an overall problem, because states now are operating as individual countries, the way I see it. You know, when you go to Europe, you know, the size is around the same, but you see each state size is a country in Europe. Well, we're operating like a country also. Each little state, if Colorado wants marijuana, then they get it, because that's the way they want to operate. If Florida wants to have guns and everybody has concealed weapon permits and everybody walking around with a gun, then the state of Florida gets it. as I was growing up, I would notice that the federal government stepped in more and stopped letting all the states change all the laws. The lawmakers were accountable. You know, if you went a little bit too far in your state, the federal government kind of slapped you back a little bit. Mm-hmm. But now the federal government doesn't do that. Each state makes laws for themselves. Even when President Obama came into Arizona, he got a stern talking to, and he's the chief of the country, mm-hmm. and he's got a finger in his face. So the respect that we have for our leaders are not there anymore, and that's what we have to get back to as a country, is have the respect for our leaders. And in the state of Florida, the best that we can do as Jordan's parents is to get the Stand Your Ground law repealed, because what that is just a shield for people to go ahead and use their firearms without any type of other thought about human life. So that's why we want to repeal that.
Lucia and Ron and your lawyer, John Phillips. John, helped me out understanding the legals of this before the show. Thank you for coming here and telling this story. I am very, very sorry that you're sitting here tonight telling the story that you have to tell. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence.
We'll be back.